Live, you are live.
Good morning and welcome on our sunrise safari, a live safari beamed straight into your living rooms or wherever you happen to be from the middle of the African bush. Now, we are coming to you live from Djuma, Arathusa and Cheetah Plains Game Reserve in the Sabi Sand in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa, and obviously starting off with what is personally my favorite herd of elephants. My name is Jamie and I will be out with you on the vehicle along with Brent and what's his name again? I can't remember his name. Zander! I do know Zander, I'm sorry. But what I wanted to say, actually, where I was going with that was Brian is back. Brian is back on board with us once again, and of course when Brian comes back to work, so does the thumb. So I think you'll all extend a warm welcome back on board the vehicle to Brian. It's wonderful to have you back. And we are also interactive, which means send through your questions on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can email through to questions@WildEarthTV. And let us go back to our wonderful animals. I said this is particularly my favorite group of elephants. A lovely mixture of, oh my goodness, that calf's actually got so big. And a little one. We've been watching this calf since it was only a few weeks old. And this lovely herd of elephant. It is the short-trunked elephant herd. She's got an older female, a male, and this little calf. What you doing? Oh, goodness. Life's tough when you can't really use your trunk too well. I'm going to spend... Oh, what's wrong? What's up, guys? It's awesome. Coming right round to the front of the vehicle. This particular family of elephants has always been incredibly relaxed around the vehicle, and what's been really nice to watch is because this particular elephant cow doesn't have a herd, she's created her own. Hello. Hello. Oh, you're very big and scary. Hi. Hi. And now? Now what? You are so brave. You are so brave. Hey, little one. There you go. Look, female. That is not the mom. It's either the mom's oldest daughter or it's her younger sister coming to make sure that the little one behaves itself. And that was really nice behavior to see from a female calf. They don't often do that. Coming up to say hello to the vehicle, all the learning that is happening in a little elephant's life is very, very important, and these first few months are absolutely crucial. And Brian, everybody is as thrilled to have you back on board with our safaris as I am. So lots and lots of welcome backs to Brian.
Thank you, everyone. I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, a nice way to start our morning, isn't it? I have to find Brian some special things to look at today. Are you coming back? Are you coming back? Are you brave? So brave. No, just want that piece of grass. It's actually really lovely to be out in the bush at the moment because after that rain, things are starting to turn green. Hello. What are you doing with your trunk? Hello. Little girl. You're being so brave. You've never done this before. What you doing? What you doing? Oh, so brave. So I often think that baby elephants actually enjoy what you're doing. Often enjoy having us around because we provide a distraction and something for them to do because they get bored. They can't eat all the time. They don't need to eat all the time because they've still got mom's milk. A human being in a vehicle provides an entertaining form of distraction when all the adults are busy being boring and eating the trees. Yes, very brave. I was very scared there, just so you know. Were you scared, Brian?
I was terrified.
Terrified. That's very scary. met with the complete tolerance, sort of a wise indifference from the adults. That is so very special. And what I love about this particular herd is, first of all, as I said, this isn't the mom of this particular calf, but she takes so much responsibility for this little one, as does the little male that is with this group as well, and is obviously the older brother to our little female. And he also, I've noticed him caring for this calf in a way that's very female. Generally, it's the females in a herd that dedicate themselves to looking after this calf, but in this special, unique little family, the dynamics are all topsy-turvy, and the male looks after the little one just as much as either his older sister or his aunt. And the lovely thing about them is they are so relaxed around the vehicles. And a very warm welcome to Richard in British Columbia. While we watch our little baby elephant, Richard, absolutely, I think that learning to use a trunk is, I'm not sure if I would call it as hard as learning to write, but when you think of what a trunk can do, so basically Richard's saying, is it as hard for them to learn to use their trunk as it is for us to learn to write? I would compare it to fine motor coordination in a toddler. So being able to catch and throw, grab, close a fist, pick something up, and coordinate that sort of thing. And a trunk is a very, very delicate instrument. It's capable, not just yet, not this little one, but it is capable of pulling down the largest branch of a marula tree, and yet at the same time delicate enough and gentle enough to pick up something the size of a toothpick or a matchstick off the ground. It is a complex process, and watching a baby elephant learn to use its trunk is probably one of my favorite things in the world. And you watch them, I mean, this little one, she must be about 8 months old now. I think that's about roughly when we started seeing her for the first time, and she was very, very tiny. Just watching baby elephants with their coordination. Hello, big girl. What's my favorite girl? Hello, beautiful. I love this elephant. I've got such a soft spot for her. We see her all the time. She's missing a third of her trunk. Probably, we'll never know exactly what happened, but most likely due to picking up a wire snare or getting caught in a wire snare. And I think that's probably the reason why she's lost out on having a herd. Well, she's created her own little herd now, but I think that's why she became separated from the rest of her family, whatever her history may have been. And that wouldn't have happened here in the Sabi Sand, but remember that we are open to the world-famous Kruger National Park and several other reserves where these animals can trundle through unimpeded by fences. And whilst that is a magical thing, sometimes it does put them more at risk in certain areas than others. And whilst it is very sad to see, at the same time, it doesn't, looking at that particular injury doesn't even make me sad anymore, because she's learned to work around it completely. She's perfectly healthy. She's got her own beautiful family. And nature carries on. I'm going to go forward just a little bit to try and get us a slightly different view. And while we do, going back to our trunk learning conversation, Kathy in Tennessee wants to know what age a little elephant will be when it is proficient with its trunk. Ooh, sorry. Kathy, probably around, you start to see them being a lot more effective at around just over a year, and then a year and a half too. But even right up until 3 years old, you'll still watch, if you watch them really closely, you'll see them making mistakes. So it's something that they practice and that they work on obviously all the time, because they need that trunk in order to survive. What amazes me, what I would love to know, I'd love to be able to know this elephant's backstory. I'd like to know what life was like for her learning to use her trunk as is, because she won't have been born that way. And if you watch her, she does a lot more of this process. Instead of twisting and breaking it off with her trunk, because obviously she doesn't have that tip, she still uses it, but she basically uses it in a much rougher manner. She pulls the branches into her mouth and then bites directly off the tree. There's another elephant, a male, that has a much shorter trunk. And he really struggles to feed. She's gorgeous. Okay, we're going to stick with our elephants for a little bit longer until they disappear off into the dense vegetation. In the meantime, poor Brent hasn't even had a chance to say good morning, so let's head on to the back of Rusty.
Well, a wonderful, large good morning from the middle of the African bush. And you see I've got my tea, and it's always good to track in the early winter's mornings with a cup of tea. Helps get the brain matter flowing. So I'm busy looking for Queen Karula and Hosanna and Shongile. They were just up in here a bit earlier, or last night. And I've got tracks now. Some upset elephants behind me somewhere. I can only see a track. This looks like one of the cubs, which means that Karula's tracks must be around here somewhere. So they are heading west. We are quite close to our southern boundary, so fingers crossed. Ah, there we go. There's Karula. So heading, if they go in a straight line from here, they're probably going to come out around Tree House waterhole. So I'm going to get hold of Herbie on the radio. And I think we're going to work that area quite extensively. So there's always a possibility, which I thought, that she might leave the cubs there and go off hunting. But it looks like she has taken the cubs with her, which is fine. We just don't want her to go south. If she goes west or north or even east, it's okay. And of course, those who were watching the sunset safari last night will know that Tingana left us and he went further to the east. Oh, yeah, let's get back into the car, get hold of Herb, and figure out where the Queen and her cubs have gone. Of course, as I said, we're alive in the African bush, and we are tracking leopards. But while we track leopards, Jamie's got that incredible short trunk herd of elephants.
We do indeed, and this will probably be our last view of them, because unfortunately they are disappearing off into some very, very dense strychnos, or monkey orange. We get them in these dense thickets around Djuma. We've, at the moment, slowly losing our view. And they spent the entire night around the house that we live in. We spoke a lot recently, particularly with the drought, about the various adaptations that animals can demonstrate when they're attempting to supplement their diet in order to survive the drought. We spoke a lot about it in terms of the duiker and the warthog, and the fact that they will eat meat, they will scavenge off carcasses, and they will even eat things like small birds if they can catch them. But Aaron wants to know if elephants will ever eat meat to supplement their diet. And the answer, Aaron, I've never seen it. They will chew bones. I have seen an elephant chew a bone before. But I've never seen them or heard of them chewing on meat. However, that being said, just because I haven't seen it or heard about it, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It makes sense to me that they might try and supplement the protein intake that they have in their diet every now and again. However, there is a certain way that elephants respond to carcasses that makes me wonder exactly how they would react, or how they would go about that. Because elephants they have a natural curiosity, and something that a lot of people interpret as mourning, particularly around elephant carcasses. They seem to gather around and they play with the bones. Playing is the wrong word, perhaps. They fiddle with the bones, pick them up, turn them over, touch them with their trunks. And I've seen them avoid carcasses. I've seen them walk around carcasses rather than go up to them, even when there's no predators in sight. I must say it would be an interesting experience to get to see an elephant going forward to eat meat. I've never seen it, but as I said, life out here is very unpredictable. I'm watching baby elephants walk, so it's not impossible that they would eat meat. But I think it would be a very hungry elephant indeed that would overcome that natural distaste that they seem to have for carcasses. And Michael, welcome back as always to our sunrise safari. Yes, little baby elephants will suck on their trunks as a comfort mechanism, just like human beings suck on their thumbs. It's one of my favorite things to witness, when they curl their trunk up into their mouths and just suck on it gently, or else reach forward and grab the adult's tail, both of which serve a very comforting, comforting purpose in a way to a little baby elephant. So they suck their trunks like people suck their thumbs. The wonderful thing about baby elephants is I think we can relate to them. Those of you with children or grandchildren or friends with children, there's so many behavioral little idiosyncrasies that baby elephants develop that are so similar to toddlers. They have tantrums sometimes. In fact, while you were with Brent, we just witnessed a little bit of a tantrum. They have tantrums when they can't get what they want. They tell on each other, which we've definitely seen before on our live safaris. They definitely snitch. We saw it with a group of 3 baby elephants, 2 older and 1 younger, and the older one stole something from the baby elephant. The baby elephant let off this earth-shattering scream, like it had been grievously injured. Mom came sprinting out of the bushes, and immediately she looked at us to see if we were provoking her little one. Then she looked at the 2 older elephant calves and immediately singled out the one that had been responsible for the transgression and went and disciplined him. So that was communicated somehow. She wasn't anywhere near the area. She can't have known that. There's so much going on in an elephant's life that we have no idea about, which to me is what makes them so special and so enjoyable to spend time with. Although unfortunately I would say our sighting at this point is pretty much over. They have ducked into some dense vegetation, and until this drought breaks and things change, we won't be trying to go off-road to get better views of elephants. We will leave that be and reduce our impact as much as we can. Very peaceful way to start off a Wednesday morning. Franklin's calling, Hornbill's calling. No, my plan is, while Brent is busy with Herbert tracking down gorillas, to go and find the Nkuhumas, because I feel as though they have disappeared somewhere and they can't have gone that far. None of us have found tracks going out. I wasn't out on safari the whole of yesterday because I went into town, which always makes one feel a little bit behind, like you don't know where anything is, or you've lost track of where everything is. But from what I understand from the other guides, nobody's seen hide nor hair of the Nkuhumas, and I would like to find the Nkuhumas for Brian so that he can see how big their cubs have got. There's 8 now, Brian. Yeah, there's another set we didn't know about. Forgot to tell you that. It was quite a surprise. But that is what I think we shall do. We shall go look for our lion pride. While we go and track down our big lions, let's go back over to Brent, find out how his leopard search is going.
Okay, so we're on the southern boundary. Unfortunately, I've got tracks here. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where they go. The last track was just around here next to the vehicle, a little bit down of Karula and both the cubs. Unfortunately, it does look like they've gone south across our boundary. They crossed just here. But what often happens is she might meander and zigzag back into our property. So what I'm going to do, we're causing traffic jams. What I'm going to do is jump back in the car, check a little bit further to the south. If we have no luck, then shoot on, or actually shoot east to Cheetah Plains. I apologize for going back here. I just want to check one last spot and have a chat to, looks like Rodney. I can't see in the sunlight from Cheetah. Karula Mampimpan. Sorry about this, guys. Morning meetings, you know. One must tell everyone else what's going on. Right next to you there. It looks like Karula and both Mampimpan have crossed.
Serious?
Yeah.
Karula.
Karula, yeah. Oh, but they're Dala, they're going up and down. But I can't find any truck further up, so I think they must go on this way because there's nothing coming in. They just finished. She had finished her mala and then caught in a nyala in an hour.
In this side?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep checking this side.
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Oh dear, Karula. Why do you want to go south? So much nicer in the north. Anyway, we're going to keep checking a little bit further up the road. Hopefully she meanders back towards us. If she doesn't, then I think we'll go to Cheetah Plains. I keep trying to get there and never quite make it. Oh! There we go. Remember, if you want to know why I'm wandering around in the bush on foot, send me a question to questions@WildEarthTV or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. So what I am doing is tracking a leopard who's got 2 cubs. I'm just going to move off the road for a second. Let the other vehicle go past. They move a bit quicker than I do. And hopefully we'll check up just a little bit further up to Weaver's Nest. Check up to Weaver's Nest Road. If we have no luck there. Oh, there's another car coming. I'll just wait here for a second. Busy highway in the morning. When I consider the road busy, it means I see more than 2 cars in a game drive.
Another one.
Oh, there's another. Oh my goodness. Oh no, that's Herbie. I'm just going to ask Herbie to double check there quickly. And there's Herbie. Say morning, Herb.
Good morning.
If you stop here, just look a little bit there.
Yeah,
I think it goes south, but the Mampimpana Dlala, so it's going across. So she might still come back outside. I'm going to check up to Weaver's Nest. If I get Luto, I'm going to find by Cheetah Plains.
Okay. I will double check here to see.
Yeah, but just check right here. There's Nkonzo of both one side and the Mampimpana Dlala, but I think they've gone south.
Yeah, I will double check.
Thanks very much, Herb.
Yeah, good.
Hi, Michael. A good morning to you, Michael. Michael's wondering if there's any update on Tundi and her cubs and Shadow and her cubs. Sorry, Michael, I thought I saw a track. Sorry. Shadow, I'm not sure. No one's seen her for quite a while, but she could be in those monkey orange thickets on Hoffman's. And then Tundi, yes. Tundi might have moved her cubs, that's all I've heard. So she's moved them away from the lodge. So fingers crossed she moves them towards Cheetah Plains. I'm going to go have a look down that side if we get no luck up here. Unfortunately, it isn't looking positive in terms of career tracking. But we know the Queen, and the Queen is allowed to change her mind at any time. So there's a strong possibility she could have looped in, looped out. She might just be leaving the cubs around. She's got a couple of favorite areas in this little drainage line down here to leave the cubs. And so far, no, we got no tracks here. So I think let's move to Cheetah Plains, and while we head east towards the rising sun, let's go see how Jamie's morning is going.
While Brent heads to the east, we are going south to check around Treehouse Dam and figure out what's been around, basically. I can re-familiarize myself with the movements of the various animals and figure out where everything is, and just show Brian how much has changed since he left on leave just over 2 weeks ago. It's definitely greener. It is definitely greener. It's so nice to see the green shoots coming through. Everywhere I look, I see a little fresh patch of green, and it does. Brian's right, he put his finger on it. It feels damp this morning. It's sort of, it must be the dew point, but it does feel incredibly soggy out here, which is an absolute pleasure, because over the last few weeks, we've just had, it's been cold, but it's just been totally dry. Now, to go out with a little bit of moisture in the air is an absolute pleasure. Now, I'm checking Treehouse Dam for a couple of reasons. One, Tingana was around yesterday, and he likes to walk this path from wherever he happens to be. It's his regular route through Djuma. And two, Karula likes to walk this path, and 3, it's where the lions like to walk. So Treehouse Dam is a veritable treasure trove of different animals, or at least their tracks. That's sort of what I'm hoping anyway. At the moment though, everything is hiding away. But I think that we should all start to follow Gendre's approach. Gendre's approach is to say, I say Gendre's approach, but with the lion hunt, Gendre had just said, I never see anything on this road. I don't think I've ever seen anything happen on this road. And he was to eat his words at a later stage. And good morning, Gregory. Welcome to the Sunrise Safari. Yes, I did say I'd gone into town, and Gregory wants to know how far away it is and what it is called. So I went into the nearby town of Hoedspruit, which takes us roughly an hour and a half, hour 15, hour and a half to get to. It's a really, really nice drive because most of it is spent driving along the Orpen road. So Orpen is a gate at Kruger. And you drive all along and you've got the Timbervati on one side, you've got a whole load of game reserves on one side, and on the other side you see elephants and buffalo. It's such a lovely drive to do. And then you go into the town of Hoedspruit. Hoedspruit is the bustling metropolis of this area. By bustling metropolis, it has 2 roads and sort of three main centers where you can go shopping. But it has absolutely everything you need. You are guaranteed at one point or another to bump into somebody that you know, or once you've been living here for a while, you bump into a lot of people you know. Almost always, when you've got some kind of bizarre request from somebody at camp, something that you can't go buy for somebody else, and you'll inevitably walk out with an armful of whatever it happens to be. I'm thinking particularly of the incident where I bought about, I don't know, what felt like 50 kilograms of diapers, and was walking out of Pick and Pay and bumped into a whole load of people that I knew who shot me very skeptical looks. Obviously it wasn't for me, but very special place, Hoedspruit. It's become my home. I'm not from Hoedspruit, I'm from Johannesburg, but for me Hoedspruit is home. And then if you want to go further afield to an actual city, because I'm not entirely sure that Hoedspruit really qualifies as a city, then you can go do the 3-hour trip to Nelspruit. I don't like Nelspruit as much. I'm not really a city person as it is. And Hoedspruit has a fantastic history. The name Hoedspruit comes from the original farmer. So what happened in the days when South Africa was in the process of being explored and colonized by the Dutch come Afrikaans people, so the Voortrekkers, they set up an area called Oryxstad, which is not far away from us at all. I'll go into the history in a moment. This was not here when it rained. Very interesting, or it was, but it wasn't as full. And it just goes to show how much of a natural seep line runs into Treehouse Dam, because this water's come from underground. A lot of it. Some of it came from the rainfall, but a lot of this has soaked through the soil and wound up in Treehouse Dam. This is why we love Treehouse Dam, and why the animals love Treehouse Dam. Because then what happens is the elephants go and dig in the mud next to it and bring up fresh, clean water, as opposed to what's basically now a mud wallow. Now we just need an animal there. Everybody's hiding this morning. But to go back to the history of Hoedspruit, the farmers started up an area called Oryxstad, and what they didn't realize at the time, because as far as I know with the history, they arrived in winter. What they didn't realize was just how bad the malaria and the sleeping sickness was in this particular areas. With the invention of DDTs, that has changed completely. But at the time, Oryxstad lost half its population at one point, and they had to move down out of the mountains and towards a place. They started up a city that is now called, it's called Mashisheng now, but Lydenburg was its original name. Place of tears, because so many people died of malaria in Oryxstad. And then what they did the community of Oryxstad, which used to extend for miles and miles and miles into the Lowveld, which is what we call this area, is they basically said to all of their young men, go away, go and start your own farms. And that is what the founder of the Hoedspruit area, or I say founder, the original farmer of this area, did. He came through to Hoedspruit, and it's called Hoedspruit because he lost his hat in the river. Hoed, hat in Afrikaans, spruit, river, it's a stream. And in those days, a good hat was hard to find. You couldn't just go down to whatever store you happened to find and buy a new one. And thus, Hoedspruit became Hoedspruit because the original farmer of this area, I wouldn't say the original occupant, definitely not the case, of course there were people here before, but he lost his hat in the river. And if you ever go and visit Hoedspruit, I'm desperately trying to get you a view of these zebra, and they are really not playing ball. Very tricky to see. If you ever find yourself in the lovely little town of Hoedspruit, go to a place called Sleepers, which is a restaurant / bar. Have yourself a jolly good burger, or whatever it is you happen to eat, and have a look at the statue of the big blue hat on a river outside of Sleepers. It's hideous, but it's got a history to it. It really is one of the ugliest statues I've ever seen, but it has a special place in my heart. Zebies, giving us a really nice demonstration. We'll swing this to a positive, giving us a really nice demonstration of just how well their stripes break up their outline. Hidden behind the trees. Come on, Zebs, such beautiful light. And you are so, so photogenic. Feels as though we've had lots and lots of zebra running around at the moment, and waterbuck. Brian, you haven't been around, but I have not done one safari where we haven't stopped at least 3 times for waterbuck. There are so many of them around at the moment. And one woodpecker tapping away solemnly somewhere. I wish I could find it for you, but it's hidden away. Okay, this is definitely not working out for us, this zebra sighting. Let's move on. Go find some lions, or gorilla, or Tingana, who hasn't come this way, contrary to expectations. Just by the way, I said Karula. We're not going to find Karula this morning, or we might, but I'm not just being really pessimistic. But her tracks do cross south into Little Gowrie, is something that I've just heard. So for now, she's crossed out of our Traverse area, south of us. What that means, we can't go there, we can't drive there to follow up. However, Karula is nothing if not unpredictable, so who knows if she might decide to pop back over the boundary at some point. And she's probably left her cubs somewhere on Djuma. And speaking of Karula, let's go across to the man who was trying to track her down and see how he's doing on his journey across to the far east.
So, unfortunately, Karula and both cubs went to the south. So I have decided to go to the east, and I'm going to see if we can find Styx Pride of lions. And who knows what else could be on Cheetah Plains. So we're arriving at what is termed the Cheetah Plains driveway. And there we go, you can see the signs up on the left there, Cheetah Plains. And we're going to go down the driveway now. Now, of course, not only do we have Styx lions in this area, we have the possibility at 2 different male leopards, Quarantine and Shivambalan, as well as Kanyin, the female, and Tandi, who's apparently moved to this area. And of course, Cheetah. Always a good spot to look for Cheetah. We haven't seen Cheetah in quite a while. I'd really like to change that this morning, but I know the Styx cubs were around the western boundary of Cheetah Plains yesterday, so fingers crossed we're able to find them this morning. And it is a glorious winter's morning. Not a cloud in the sky. While we meander towards the heart of Cheetah Plains, let's get your grey matter working. I've got a cheetah question, since we're going to Cheetah Plains, for you guys to answer. Where is the largest meta population of cheetah in the world? Where's the largest meta population of cheetah in the world? I know I've asked it before, but I think there might be some new viewers out there who might be quite interested to know some information like that. So if you know the answer, send through to questions@WildEarthTV or hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Now, a meta population is the largest population with the most unique or genetic diversity. So think about it, think hard and carefully. Where's the largest meta population of cheetah in the world? And if you know that answer, as I said, questions@WildEarth.tv on email or hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Okay. I need to jump on the Game Drive channel, and I'm also about to go through a little gremlin hollow. They live down in this little river system here. So while we duck through the gremlin hollow, let's go see how Jamie's faring.
That particular patch of Cheetah Plains shall now forever after be called the Gremlin Hollow, just like Philemon's Dip has now been renamed Icicle Dip by Dave, because it's the coldest place on Djuma first thing on a winter's morning. Now we're coming up with all kinds of brand new names for the different places that we go. So far, everything is having a bit of a lie-in this morning. I think we should go to Hyena Road and go find the lions there. Perhaps they never moved that far from that buffalo carcass. Or perhaps they went across to Buffelshoek towards those dead elephants, but I don't think so. We lost 2 elephants in very close proximity to each other in Buffelshoek, which is a natural process when the drought hits. Even for winter, actually. As soon as the food starts to get a little bit more scarce, it's harder for the older elephants to eat. Their teeth that are worn down, they can't quite meet their nutritional needs, and age takes its toll far faster in the dry season. So there's 2 dead elephants on Buffelshoek, which is the property to the north of us. And what that has meant, the lions haven't spent as much time as I expected them to there, but what it has meant is that our hyenas haven't paid us a visit in a very, very long time. I believe the bin was outside last night, or one of them at least was outside last night, and had managed to escape completely unscathed. So that's how you know that our hyenas for now have almost completely deserted us. It's absolutely tragic. I'm so sad. They've gone to the north. I feel a little bit betrayed. Not quite, but I do miss them. I do miss the time that we got to spend at the hyena den. And I'm very disappointed that we never got to watch Gwen's cubs grow up through that stage of being tiny and brown and cute and wobbly to getting their spots and being curious and wandering around, chewing on things and coming up to the vehicle. I'm really sad that we missed out on that particular part of their lives. And that's just purely because I've been spoiled. We've been spoiled with the hyena den action that we've had over the last few months. They've also moved, of course, because, you know, we've got 8 lion cubs on Djuma that have basically grown up on Djuma. And I think the hyenas decided that perhaps messing with a fiercely protective female lion was not their best plan, and they decided it was time to move out of the neighborhood and leave the place to the lions for now. The things will change, the dynamics will shift, and we'll get our hyenas back. I keep telling myself that. That's the mantra I tell myself whenever I go to bed at night. Hyenas will come back. Down into the Mulwati drainage, There we go. So Shamsun thinking along similar lines, and also in very similar lines to me. Of course, bad puns are one of my favorite things. So Shamsun's absolutely right. Since all of the animals are having a lion, perhaps we'll find a lion. Bravo, Shamsun. Agreed. Let's go find some lions. Lions having a lion. Standing by. Morning, Herbert. Checked Shabam Treehouse Road and then along to Pangolin Track, and now I'm in the Mulwati, going along Vulture's Nest now. Sorry guys, just listening to Herbert. Copy that, thanks Herbert. I'm going to go check Gari Katla and Hyena Road. That was a very detailed description from Herbert as to where he's going and where he's planning on going. He's got his morning all worked out, and we shall be very, very grateful for his assistance. So right now what Herbert was telling me there on the Game Drive comms was to cut a long story short, he's going to check the western edge of Djuma to search for any sign of Shadow coming back onto the property. And then those of you who've been keeping tracks of Harry's maps of Sindile, he's doing circles, isn't he? Oh, not quite. But he's spending a lot of time going through Djuma, Buffelshoek, Torchwood, back round. He was in Arathusa 2 days ago. He's also always on a potential on the cards. The one thing I will say about Sindile, though, you have to track him. You have to go and search for him, because he doesn't come and plonk himself down on the side of the road. Not that many of our leopards do, but you do occasionally bump into Karula or Tingana. With Sindile, we've put in a lot of time and effort trying to follow him and to track him. It took Herbert hours the other week when he had the impala kill that he was sharing with Mvula to find them. Sindile, by the way, for those of you for whom that was all Greek, I'm talking about leopards. So Shadow is a leopard, Sindile is her oldest son, Shadow also has a younger cub. Sindile has a tracking collar, so that's what I meant when I said that he seems to be going in circles, because every now and again, Jerry Camacho very kindly shares updates with us about where Sindile happens to be. And as I said, he seems to be going in circles. It seems as though Brent has made his way through Gremlin Hollow and out the other side safely and securely, with signals still on Rusty. Now let's jump on board all the way to the east to Cheetah Plains.
So we've made our way down here. I do not, unfortunately, have the best news. It seems like the sticks have crossed to the north. They found the cubs, but no adult lionesses, so you never know, they might pop up on the hunt. So we're going to keep checking, and also maybe have a look for, I know, a firm favourite of all of ours, the quarantine male leopard, and head down towards the open area to see if there are any cheetah about. But we're going to check 3 in a row pan first, and then we'll head down to the south to the open areas. So there were lots of different answers to the cheetah meta population. Botswana, Namibia, the Masai Mara. I think that, those are unfortunately all incorrect. The answer is actually the greater Kruger. Very, very interesting. The largest. Tiffany, well done Tiffany. Tiffany got that spot on. And so Tiffany, you are correct. It is the greater Kruger. It is a massive area. And people always associate cheetah with wide open plains, but they are just as at home in mixed bushveld like this. And the thing is about cheetah is they have such massive home ranges that sometimes it doesn't look like there are as many as them. Oh, someone's already driven there, so we're going to go this way. The road less traveled. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, I think these are the lion tracks from a bit earlier. This is just the ladies, no cubs. Actually, I've changed my mind. Just have a quick look here. Very interesting. Where are you going, ladies? Where are you off to? Did you go that way? No, these trucks have been driven over. So we are not following them. But I am going to change my things. It sounds like those lion tracks are heading this way. So they might come back to Cheetah Plains. So I was going to head down towards the south first. I'm now going to head to the north first and just check the northern boundary of Cheetah Plains. And hopefully, and they've left the cubs, they're hunting, and they catch something on Cheetah Plains, and they bring the cubs to us. Yeah, that beautiful call. And let's find a gap. That should be a good gap through there. Yep, Zander. There we go. It's a red-crested Korhan calling. It is the time of the year where they like to do their mating display. There it is. Hello. Hello, Fluffy. Hopefully if it calls, it might even put up its crest. Oh, there's another one calling. Come on, give us a call. Don't get self-conscious now. Now, Korans are part of the bustard family, the smallest members of the bustard family. Now, when they do call, they raise the red crest. It is completely invisible until they call. I can't really see if it's a male or female yet. We'll find out if it calls. Oh, it might do the suicide dance. There we go. Look at the tongue. That's a female. Not putting up the crest. But did you see that beak clapping? Oh, where are you off to? Oh, hungry. Why aren't the boys responding? I'm just going to eat instead. Okay, we're quite close to 3 in a row pan. Oh, what are you up to? No. Picking. But wasn't that incredible to watch that little display with the beak clapping as well as the call? Now, what makes me think it's a female, if it had been a male, I'm actually not 100% sure. I'm a bit rusty on sexing of Korans. Where is my book? Okay. Can hear others calling. It might call and do that display again. Okay, let's have a look. So, mostly insectivorous. They will eat fruit as well. And no, I actually think it is a male. It is a male. So when it pops its head up, you can see that grey thing, and underneath that is where the red crest is concealed. So that is a male Quran. He's just not showing us his red crest. And he's not doing his suicide dance either. So often nicknamed the suicide bird. They fly right up into the air and close their wings and plummet to the ground, and just before they open their wings, and it's all to impress the ladies. Now, Jamie's got some ladies that impress all of us, so let's go have a look what lady she's got.
Surprise! Hyena Road does it again. Look who we have got here. What have you seen, girl? Oh, where are you going, Mum? Take me with you. Our three oldest Nkuhumas, Amber Eyes and their mother. How absolutely lovely. What a fantastic way to start off our morning. I'm holding off repositioning for one moment. I don't think she's going to go too far. Oh, always so spoiled. These lion cubs are just so incredible, especially in this morning light. Oh, catch her! Catch her! I'm holding off repositioning for a very good reason, and that is that little one. The third of the oldest set of Nkuhuma cubs. Come on, little one, get up. Come on, Mom's going. We've been a little bit concerned about it. It might be something that will heal up totally. However, the one Nkuhuma cub does have a nasty limp and is much more subdued than the rest, or than her siblings. I say her, I think it's a she. I haven't had a chance to properly look. Hi, little girl. Come on, little one. Mommy's going. Off you go. No. And I think having to work a lot harder to keep up. The wonderful thing about lions, and with lion cubs, I have seen them bounce back from injuries far worse than this little one has. And also, because of the social nature of them, and because of the strength of the maternal instinct, the mother will not leave it behind. She will not go anywhere without it. She'll go back and fetch it and wait for it. For now, though, being guarded by Aunt Amber Eyes, with her very prominent scar on her right shoulder. So she doesn't have any cubs of her own. She might be pregnant, but it is early stages. She's proved to be a wonderful babysitter for the 8 little Nkuhuma cubs. I can't wait till we see them all together. Little one, we suspect well, we will never know what happened to that cub. It could have been an injury obtained when Mom was hunting, or it could have been an injury when the little cub tried to feed. Oh, stalking! I am the master of the shadows. Yes. Well done. The master of surprise. I love the sounds that they make. Ow! Ow! Hi, girl. The tolerant and long-suffering aunt that has to deal with all the baby teeth. Get him! Get him! And 8 of them belong to the Styx Pride. And as a result, we have had some truly magical sightings over the last few days. Really, truly special. Now, speaking about the fact that their social bonds are so critical to these cubs' survival, I'm so flat you can't see me. I'm hidden. I'm a patch of grass. And talking a little bit about our injured cubs, Shamsan would like to know if the mother would still carry these cubs if needed. She might, but only in very, very extreme circumstances. So at this point, probably not. They have grown extraordinarily. Hi, little one. Sorry, I'm distracted. Hello. It's okay. It's okay. Come on. Mom's over there. Up you get. As I said, I've seen lion cubs recover from really horrible injuries. I've seen one with a broken leg before that survived thanks to the attentions of the rest of the pride, and whilst Mom never carried it around, it was able to keep pace with the rest of the pride and share their kills, and went on to make a full recovery and have full use of the leg. Come on, little one. The cub's just much more subdued than its siblings. And already, from Saturday, when did they finish? They finished off their carcass on Monday. Already they are now, the lionesses are hungry again. They're going to be looking for their next meal. I'm just going to go forward ever so slightly. Yeah, go forward a little bit. Little one. Can I come forward? There you go. I'm just trying to keep an eye on all that's going on. The positioning's a bit awkward for Brian. Just want to see where they decide to move to. Yeah. I think let's go back. We'll go backwards towards Aubrey now that the lioness is lying down. Such a wonderful surprise. Hyena Road was a good choice. How cute you are. The lion cub waddle. They really do, they waddle. Begging now for milk, even though at this point they are getting closer and closer to the stage at which Mom will no longer be lactating. Let's go back a little bit, reposition, and while we do, we can answer Tammy's question about, of the 16, how many are likely to survive. It's such a difficult one, Tammy, because it's so dependent on circumstances. So I could tell you that on average you're looking in this area at around a 60% mortality rate before their first year of life. But your statistics are so skewed, because if a pride takeover has happened, if a coalition takeover has happened, oh, hold on. Sorry, Tammy, I'll get back to you in a second. This is where it becomes very difficult to watch. It's a dislocated hip, I think. It's not putting any weight on that leg at all. Oh, shame, little one. Oh, they're putting a little bit. I'm not sure, but it looks to me like the hip's a bit skew. And there's a very definite size difference between that little cub and the others. We're going to reposition, get a better view, and then we'll go back to answering Tammy's question. But for now, Brent has got one of the canid species.
From a cat to a dog, side-striped jackal. Not the most relaxed side-striped jackal we've seen. A little bit nervous. There's a pair of them. The other one ran off a bit further. And look at that beautiful eye just keeping a watch on us through the gap in the bush. Oh, no! Oh, off it goes. Decided we must be a bit scary. Now, off the jackal goes. I've got some excellent news, everyone. Excellent news. And it's not the fact that we're going to see any of these creatures, or we might, you never know. But there was a lot of debate whether Nkanyeni had lost a cub, and she's only been seen with one cub. This morning she was seen with both cubs, so excellent news. And they were heading south in Kruger, so they might come onto Cheetah Plains this morning or this afternoon. So I'm going to take a little gamble and head towards that area around the Kruger boundary, and fingers crossed that Nkanyeni is there. And so the sticks have all crossed into Nkor. The females are hunting, so there's always a possibility they might come back across. But really great news about Nkanyeni. And we have male leopard tracks. Okay. What is going on? Unfortunately, they are right on the boundary. Maybe that's why the jackals were so skittish, because there'd been a male leopard here not too long ago. Okay, still got. Come on, Mr. Q. Appear on cue. Now, Mr. Q. Oh, there's the jackals again. Now, side-striped jackal tend to alarm call when they've seen a leopard, so it might not be right now. I'm going to have to jump off the vehicle and have a look. Oh, there we go. Look at the jackal. Just go forward slightly. A bit more relaxed. Oh, there we go. He's going to come out into the open. A bit more relaxed at this distance. Hello, side stripe. Oh, I find them such incredibly beautiful animals. It's looking for its mate. Well, there we are. We know this is James Richards' favourite, so he's very, very happy. I love that little white tip to the tail. And off the side stripe jogs.
There's two.
Yep. Yeah, so it's found the other member. There we go. Male and female. The pair's reunited. Hopefully they have a den close by, and we might see some little jackal puppies. Since there's so many babies around, I think the jackal should just join in. Okay, I'm going to have to jump off the vehicle, try to figure out where this male leopard is gone. And hopefully we are able to produce both lion and leopard this morning. But speaking of lions, let's go back to Jamie.
For now, we have taken a slightly further position to view these lions. We're just going to play some swapping around of vehicles. Aubrey's going to leave, and he's going to make some space for Taxon to come and visit them. So that's why we are where we are at the moment. And so to go back to Tammy's question about the cub mortality rate, so what you can sort of understand what I'm saying in terms of the mathematics of the situation. Because if there's a pride takeover, bye-bye guys, have a lovely drive. Bye. Brian, was she blowing kisses at you there? Too sweet. Some of Aubrey's guests are regular viewers. Let's reposition now that we've got some space and we can answer Tammy's question. So if you look at the statistics, you've got such a high skew in favor of, or not in favor of, in terms of cub mortality, because if a male coalition comes in, they kill all the cubs. That's 100% mortality rate. So it definitely biases the statistic. I would say, as provided the Birmingham boys continue to do what they do best, which is mark their territory, defend their territory, call, keep other male lions away, provided they manage to do that, which I think they shall, because there's 4 of them, which really does help, then things will be very, very different. They will be absolutely fine. I'm worried about this little cub. Of course we all are. It's a concern that we all have. Hi little ones. Oh, you're in such a difficult position. I don't want to stress them out at all. We'll just shift forward very slowly. So the answer to the question that Tammy originally asked was, of the 16, how many are going to survive? Roughly how many are going to survive? Hi, can I come here? Do you mind? They're little ones. Oh, still into the sun. Hello, baby. I would guess, Tammy, and say to their first year, depending on, because after that things change depending on how many males and females we have, probably maybe 14. That's a guess though. I mean, it's pure speculation. We don't know what's going to happen. Oh, little one. Okay, heads are down, little cubs are asleep, or suckling. Now, Anna Marie has asked a question, because we've seen them with their fierce predator teeth and their big deep growls that they make. Anna Marie's asked the question, well, she'd love to know when they actually lose their milk teeth and gain their permanent teeth. And Anna Marie, as far as I know, it's just a little bit before 6 months old. Similar to those of you who've had big dogs and puppies, and around 6 months old they start to develop the permanent set, and of course it can take up to 2-3 months, that whole process. The first to come through will be the canines, which is really adorable, because then they get these little double rows of teeth like little sharks. The baby teeth don't always fall out straight away, and then they'll start to grow them through. So I would say that, how old are these cubs now? They must be 3 months old. In the next 2 months, we'll start to see signs of permanent teeth. And that, of course, is the joy of these live safaris, is first of all, you get to watch the progress of them growing up. And second of all, we have got the ability, particularly with the cameras that we have got the ability to enhance the view that you are seeing. So look closer. Spot things that we might not see with the naked eye. And that will include being able to zoom in on their little teeth. I was watching the highlights from James's drive the other day with the little lion cub yawning. It was adorable, but it also really gave us a lovely view of its teeth. Now, of course, we don't have a lovely view. Oh, we've got a lovely view of the back of her head, which is quite special, but that's about it. It's breakfast time for little ones. I wonder where the rest of the pride are. They must have been here. These Nkuhumas have been here the whole time. Ever since they disappeared from that buffalo kill, they've been hiding around in this area, which is what we thought. We just weren't 100% sure. Big stretch from Amber Eyes. She's going to make her way over to her sister or pride mate. And I'm just giving some thought. I'm sitting quietly for a moment because I'm just giving some thought as to how to best explain the answer to Elaine's question, because I know that Elaine's question is one that applies to everybody. Everybody's thinking it, and it's a difficult one. Oh, okay, Amber Eyes. Fair enough. And our constant cacophony of Egyptian geese every time we come to Hyena Road. The permanent soundtrack of Hyena Road. If roads had soundtracks, Hyena Road would be Egyptian geese. Okay, so Elaine's question is the one that's burning on everybody's minds, which is why, if lions are on the endangered species list, do we not intervene with the cub and its injury? And it is a really good question. It's an entirely salient and entirely fair question. Lions are not endangered in South Africa. Now that might seem like a ridiculous statement, but in certain parts of South Africa the lions are actually overpopulated. Not the case here, because of course the natural way of things works it out and nature manages the population on its own. Most of you will know by now, but for new viewers, we have a policy that we only intervene where an injury is human inflicted. So if, for example, that cub had a snare, like the elephant we were talking about this morning, if that cub had a snare, then we would intervene and we would look after it. But because lions are not endangered in South Africa, and we can't take our excess lions and put them elsewhere, lions are not endangered in South Africa itself. The policy now, the approach that we have taken or adopted, and most conservationists now do, is that wherever you can, you don't interfere. You let nature take its course. And an overpopulation of lions means death to leopards, cheetah, wild dogs. You don't want too many lions in an area. So we don't intervene in this particular instance because it's just the way of things. It's very hard for us to watch. And believe me, I would love to go and scoop up that little cub and take it to the vet right away. Maybe not though, because I don't think she'd take too well to that. I don't think Mom would take too well. I know Mom wouldn't take too well to that. It's very human of us. We want to go scoop it up and take it and look after it and protect it. We can't, unfortunately. And also bear in mind, it's very, very expensive. And yes, there's plenty of sources of funds, but could those funds not go somewhere else and do something that is more productive in terms of conservation as a whole? It's difficult, I know. Trust me, everybody wants to try and help and fix something like that, but we can't. There's a level of interference that becomes, oh, little one, as we're talking about you. Oh. That's not the one with the limp. That one just fell over. I thought it was limping, but it's just fallen over. And who knows what happened to the lion cub? Oh, it was exhausting. Auntie Amber Eyes will take care of you. Although I've seen Auntie Amber Eyes smack a couple of these cubs around quite roughly. But it's wonderful to watch. I mean, little lion cubs are incredibly resilient. And also bear in mind, just on the subject of this cub, not this particular cub, but the injured cub, it's not a death sentence. That cub may well be absolutely fine. I'm still confident it's going to be okay. And if it's not, unfortunately, it's the natural way of things. Cannot have an overpopulation of lions. Nature has its ways of maintaining balance in numbers, and it's a balancing act. And welcome, as always, to Lucy in South Bend, Indiana. Wonderful to have you on board. I'm thinking about where I can reposition without stressing these cubs out to try and make life a little bit easier, although this is a beautiful scene. Lucy would like to know... Sorry, Lucy, hold on one moment. Go ahead, Tak. You're welcome to join me. Sorry, Lucy. Lucy wants to know if perhaps the mother's hanging back because of the injured cub and whether or not that might be the case. Yes, I think she is. I think she wanted to move further into the river system to hide away. Not from us, just to hide away from the day. Go and find some shade and some protection there. And she walked, and then she stopped and she looked back, and her 2 cubs came with her and the other one stayed. So yes, I do think that she wanted to leave and that she is hanging back because of the injured cub. Well, that's what lions do for each other, and that's why the chances are that little cub is going to be absolutely fine. Because it's got the protection of the whole pride. On this glorious winter's morning with our lovely little lion cubs, a big welcome to David, who is a new viewer. It is wonderful to have you on board, David, and I'm so glad that we could start off your morning with a lion cub sighting, because they are absolutely just the best thing. They, as Brent describes them, they're delectable. Delectable little monsters. He also described them as fuzzy, because Brent turns into a pile of mush when he is presented with tiny baby cats. David, it's wonderful to have you, and I hope that you will continue watching. You wanted to know where all the male lions are, and that's a very good point. So our standard impression of lions, the one that we are raised with, and the idea that Lion King gave us, is that a lion pride consists of a male or 2 males with a group of females. That's actually not the way that lions work. A lion pride is females only and their young offspring, including males, but just their offspring. A pride is a female thing. The males have territories that they defend, and they either on their own or in groups known as coalitions. They have territories that they defend, and within those territories, within that territory will be the territories of several different females. So the male lions rotate between females. They might come and visit, as they did a couple of days ago with the buffalo carcass, although saying visit, I think, is putting it strongly. They came to enjoy the carcass and the free meal that was provided for them, but otherwise they have a very busy time spent marking their territorial boundaries, keeping other male lions out, and essentially providing a safe haven for their offspring. At the moment, this is the Nkuhuma pride, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to the Nkuhuma pride. I said there are 8 cubs. We've only got 3 here at the moment. There are 5 adult females and 8 cubs, and they are dominated for now by a coalition of males called the Birmingham Boys. The Birmingham Boys came in this time last year, took over from a group called the Matimba Males. They killed all of the cubs and several of the Nkuhumas as well in the process because they were young, and a coalition takeover is an aggressive thing for the lions involved. A couple of the Nkuhumas lost their lives to the Birmingham Boys, and now, in the true circle of life, we've got several little Nkuhuma cubs that are Birmingham Boy offspring, or most likely Birmingham Boy offspring. I'm going to try and find us a nice position where we can see the other cubs clearly and we can discuss a little bit more about what's happening with them. For now, let's go to Brent for an update on Cheetah Plains.
So we've thrown a bit of a gamble, and I'm looking for Nkanyeni. I think it might be a little bit early for her to be this far from where they saw her, but you never know. Might as well have a look. So this is the boundary of the Kruger National Park, and she was heading straight south down the road. But there are no tracks here, unfortunately. Have a quick look down there. No sign of leopards. But we'll go check down to the south for some cheetah. Now, hi, Emmy! Welcome to Safari Live, Emmy. Emmy says, this is so cool. I've never seen live streams like this. I can't believe I'm on a safari. Well, believe it, Emmy. And welcome to the middle of the African bush. From wherever you might be sitting, Emmy. And apart from being on safari, you can ask questions. And you can do that the same way you just made that comment. So, Emmy, we would love to hear some questions from you. And again, a big welcome to the Safari Live family. So, I definitely think it's worth coming to check down Cheetah Plains on the Sunset Safari. So, Emmy, it's twice a day. In a few hours, we'll do it all again. And you never know what can happen because, as you mentioned, we are live. So, Nkuhuma is a female leopard, and she's got 2 cubs. And she was heading towards our northern boundary here, but unfortunately, she hasn't quite made it yet. So, we're going to keep checking down on Cheetah Plains. So all 3 Styx lionesses and the 8 cubs have been found to the north of us. There were 2 Birmingham boys that went down into Mala Mala, and I know Jamie's just been chatting about them, so maybe they come back up to the north. And we'll find out shortly. Hi, Joey in Australia, who's now 15 in one day. Joey says, can we find some ostrich? One of his favorites. Well, Joey, the area we're going into now is probably our best chance at ostriches. That massive open area to the south of Cheetah Plains open area. It's the spot where we've seen ostriches most often. So fingers crossed for you, Joey, that we're going to find an ostrich or 2. Now, from the tracks, the Styx lions have literally been everywhere last night. Before crossing to the north, I've just seen tracks all over the place. Okay. Just checking this patch of woodland that's between the 2 big open areas. Never know what might be hiding. This is the area where the only pangolin ever on Safari Live was seen. I'm hoping we'll find it again one of these days. Oh, look at that. Okay, we've got one of the not too common trees in this part of the world, a fig tree. But it's got a little bunch of birds on top of it. And there you go. So right at the top of this tree, I've got a Cape glossy starling, but that's not the ones that caught my attention. It's the green ones that are sunning themselves there. That is an African green pigeon basking in the morning light. Oh, here we go. Look at those stunning colours. Oh, don't fall over. Oh. A bit of repositioning was needed. So, they are great fruit eaters, and in fig trees they love the figs, but in this case I think they're just using it as a convenient basking spot. Now I was going to just go off to the left slightly. I thought I saw another bird species in there. Is that the starling? It's what is that there? It's the starling. Cape glossy starling, and then another Cape glossy starling. The colour's changing. Let's go back to the left. Due to the iridescence. So it'll look a different colour. Oh, off it goes, depending on the angle that the light hits it. And the shinier you are as a starling, the more attractive you are. Yeah, well, let's leave those pigeons to sunning themselves. They're definitely, for me, the most beautiful member of the pigeon family that we get out here, or pigeon and dove family. And they're sitting in a wonderful fig tree atop a termite mound. But let's keep moving through the woodland towards the vast open plains. and see if there's an ostrich for Joey, a cheetah for someone else, and even a male lion for me.